could have my disagreements with different commentators and people across the political spectrum, even those on the left too. And I know there's a lot of left infighting, but there's also some disagreements I could have with those who are conservative or libertarian. However, the one thing I don't like is when corporate media constantly keeps on projecting its neoliberal agenda and fantasies upon people that are relatively popular and have general appeal amongst the masses. And the thing is, let's face it, a lot of people have been slandered, smeared, defamed by corporate media. You have Joe Rogan, you have Jimmy Dore, and yes, Tucker Carlson, and so many others, so many others. And there's a reason why Tucker Carlson is popular amongst a lot of people. And that is he's done a lot of great interviews and he's had people across the political spectrum on his show, left and right, those who he would definitely disagree with, but have a conversation with, and those that, yes, he has had agreements with, but also had disagreements as well. But the thing is, recently, Tucker Carlson, I don't know, man. Look, Tucker, the off chance you see this, you might have committed a drive-by, Chicago style, on this one reporter who kept on accusing him of racism, bigotry. And the thing is, he's never really said. Now, of course, Tucker Carlson said some controversial things here and there, but if we look at the migrant crisis here, especially the sanctuary cities, it's very clear that no one at the state level or the city level, especially in states that have sanctuary cities, had any real plan to take care of the wave of migrants that have been happening under Joe Biden's administration. And again, if we look at the reason why we have a migrant crisis, is you could thank the decades of Democratic and Republican presidential administrations implementing the ridiculous war on drugs, regime change wars, coups, sanctions, political instability in Central and South America and across the world. And of course, it should come as no surprise why there is a wave of migrants coming here, because who in their right mind would want to live under the rule of a drug lord, tyrant, dictator, general? And with all these coups that are happening, especially one that recently took place in Bolivia, I mean, no one wants to live in a war zone. So that's why there's a massive wave. And of course, with this massive wave of migrants coming in, you're going to have people in this country have different opinions. But Tucker did a drive-by, and I want to play this video so all of you could see it for yourselves. But on a side note, a lot of you people in corporate media, it's not 2016 anymore. It's over. You had your hype under the Trump years, and you really actually missed out when Biden got elected, because you could continue on with that grift. And dare I say it, controversial statement in 3, 2, 1. If Trump got reelected in 2020, I think we would still have the same smug environment from 2016 through 2020, going on for 2022, 2024. And they would still have some legs, shaky legs to stand on. But ever since Biden came into office, the utter hypocrisy of the neoliberal establishment media is out there for everybody to see. Even the most diehard of liberals, the most vote blue of people, even they are having such a hard time really coming face to face with their own hypocrisy. So let's go ahead and pull this video up here. And look, I'll pause here and there, but Tucker, Jesus Christ, stop it. They're already dead.
So much for your address today. So you talked a little bit about immigration, and in the past you've talked about how white Australians, Americans, Europeans are being replaced by non-white immigrants in what is often referred to as the Great Replacement Theory. This is the same.
Have I said that whites are being replaced?
Well,
I don't think I said that.
Well, it's been mentioned on your show 4,000 times. And
really, when did I say that?
On your
I said
show,
whites are being replaced.
Now, this is journalism 101. You need to give a cite and citation. If you're going to say he's been saying it 4,000 times, you need to show proof. Just like in that interview that Piers Morgan did a few months ago, in which he had one of his guests that was definitely pro-Israeli, saying that Piers Morgan had pro-Hamas people on his show that were calling for the death and destruction of Israel, which, if she was referencing some of his interviews that he did with Bassem Youssef and a few others, I think we can all say with confidence that none of those people on Piers Morgan's show said that. And even Piers Morgan said, wait, name the guest. Well, if you're going to say Tucker Carlson said this 4,000 times, episode, date, time and the exact quotations of it in its full entirety. See, a lot of people in corporate media, a lot of these people who work for mainstream media are not serious people. Hey, I'm going to use my Logan Roy quote. I love you, corporate media, liberals, journalists, but you are not serious people.
You have said that before.
Really?
Yeah.
I would challenge you to cite that because I'm pretty sure I haven't said that. I said
I
native-born Americans are being replaced, including blacks.
Native-born Americans.
Native-born Americans.
And
Americans who, like Black Americans, have been African Americans, have been in the United States for, in many cases, their families over 400 years. And their concerns are every bit as real and valid and alive to me as the concerns of white people whose families have been there 400 years. So I've never said that whites are being replaced. Not one time. And
I
you can't
believe
cite
that's
it.
untrue.
So
I'm
Mima Flowers, you know what? I think it's going to happen. You know what? That's definitely on my bingo card for 2024. I'm going to make this prediction right here, right now. I think Tucker Carlson is going to be the first person to interview Julian Assange. All right, a little bit off topic, but I think that's going to happen. That's my prediction before the end of this year. It's going to happen, possibly. Again, Julian probably has a long road of mental recovery, and let's let him rest. But I think that's possibly going to happen. I think it'll be Tucker who'll be the first one.
we just met, but when our relationship starts with a lie, it makes it tough to be friends. So
you've been lying
let's
about
pull
my
that back.
press
I'm
gallery
happy to
colleagues all
explain what I
morning as
do
well,
think.
So,
Well, you actually can't say it because I didn't say it, and I don't believe it. And I'm telling you that to your face. So why don't you just accept me at face value? My
because it's
concern
not
is that
true.
the people who are born in the country are the main responsibility of its leaders. And as noted earlier, when those leaders shift their concern from the people whose responsibility it is to take care of to people around the world to put their priorities above that of their own citizens, that's immoral. And they are being replaced in my country, people who are born in the United States. And the birth rate tells the whole story. They're not at replacement rate. And so the US population is growing because we're importing people from other countries. And my view is that happy people have children, and a functioning economy allows them to do that. And we don't have that. And so you need to fix the economy and fix the culture and make it so that people who want to have kids can. You don't just go for the quick sugar fix of importing new people. Like, that's my position. And if you think that's racist, that's your problem.
I never called you a racist.
But of course you are suggesting. And
Well,
I must.
She is implying that. And this is a tactic that we saw in 2015, late 2015, going on through 2016. And this is a tactic that a lot of corporate media did to cancel a lot of people, from comedians to pundits to anyone on social media. That you make the false accusation that someone's being racist or bigoted. You got to show proof and evidence. Same thing like was, again, when someone is a victim of assault. Okay, got to be careful because of the YouTube guidelines and all that. Due process, evidence. You have to do it. Now, yes, of course, you can believe. That's fine. But due process must then take place. Same thing, too, with the accusation. Well, you're this, you're that. Show me proof. I mean, on my show, originally, when we were starting Hardlands Media, we did get a lot of conservative trolls saying, oh, you guys are communists, this, that, and the other. But what I noticed as time progressed on, and as we started, of course, remain critical of Republican politicians, but what more can I say that hasn't been said already? A lot of liberals started trolling on us. And I love it, because they start calling me right-wing or racist or fascist or all this other stuff. When have I said that on my show? When have I said that? Because what? I'm critical of your favorite politician, of a Democratic lawmaker? Can't take the criticism, can't take the heat? Well, then get thicker skin. And that's what that reporter's doing. She is making the accusation, the assumption, all right, in the way she's referencing these questions towards Tucker. Oh, you're this and you're that. Proof. Citations. Show me. All of you in the audience are a million times better than this person asking this question to Tucker. Because at least my audience, and I'm proud to say it, no matter where you stand politically, you guys and gals do your own research, and that's what I expect out of my audience, to do your own research, as you should.
I say one of the reasons people don't like people like you in the media is that you never say exactly what you mean. Your slurs are all by implication, and you're about to tell me the great replacement theory is racist or anti-Semitic, whatever. I've said what I've said to you right now, 100 times in public. I hope to, if I live long enough, to say it 100 more times. I think it's completely honest and real, not racist or scary. It's factually true. It's not a theory. It's a fact. And the whole point of your...
We're going to rewind this, but I want to give a shout out to Dan Barr. Maybe if you were nicer to AOC, then America wouldn't have become a shithole country. You ever think about that, Kit? To which I have to say, yeah, I did it. Live on air, I'm going to admit this right now. The reason why the economy is shite, the reason why politics is corrupt is because I was mean to AOC. Ha! And I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for American citizens setting aside their differences and realizing what the problem is. That's right. It's my fault. That's right, Austin. It was me the whole time. Shut up. Shut up, people. That's right. It's because of me. That's right. Because I was mean to AOC, America's on a downward spiral. And I'll do it again. Try and stop me, liberals. Try and stop me, Trumpers. And what are the independents going to do? Vote? Ha, if your state allows it.
And fix the culture and make it so that people who want to have kids can. You don't just go for the quick sugar fix of importing new people. Like, that's my position. And if you think that's racist, that's your problem.
I never called you a racist.
But of course you are suggesting. And
well,
I must say, one of the reasons people don't like people like you in the media is that you never say exactly what you mean. Your slurs are all by implication. And you're about to tell me the great replacement theory is racist or anti-Semitic, whatever. I've said what I've said to you right now, like 100 times in public. I hope to, if I live long enough, say it 100 more times. I think it's completely honest and real, not racist or scary. It's factually true. It's not a theory. It's a fact. And the whole point of your question was to be like, you're a scary racist.
Well, I haven't.
And my response is, no, I'm not. Okay, well, how about no more lying in your questions, and then I'll answer it.
Okay. Well, this is the same theory, or as you say, idea, that has inspired the New York Buffalo shooting, where 11 Black Americans were killed.
On.
2
you know
white
what I mean?
Americans were killed.
Like,
and it's also inspired.
Okay, first of all, again, Tucker Carlson cannot control the crazy people out here in the world. I can't do that. None of you can't do that. But this is, again, a similar tactic that we saw in 2016, where you had journalists blaming people for things that were understandably and are and will always will be out of their control. And that's a pretty asinine statement coming from this quote-unquote journalist. Because what? She wants to get some more clickbaits because she took on Tucker? No. This is the similar tactic. So from 2016 through 2020, we saw this. And for a time, it did have power because, again, corporate media and the cancel culture was at an all-time high. This is what I mean. You got to stand up and push back against it. Now, I can have my disagreements with Tucker Carlson, but I'm not going to put any kind of crisis or shooting or situation for him. That's wrong to do. That's wrong to do to anybody. And it's sad. It's sad and pathetic. And this is why, again, we got to break. Journalism, media in this country needs a drastic overhaul.
It's not, first of all,
it's inspired one of the worst Australian guns.
How do they get
time
people
to
this stupid in the media? I guess it doesn't pay well. Look, I'm sorry. I've lived among people like you for too long, and I don't mean to call you stupid. Maybe you're just pretending to be, but I'm totally against violence. I'm totally against the war in Ukraine, for example, which doubtless you support. And like all dutiful liberals, support more carnage. I don't. I hate mass shootings, actually. Nothing I said, what does it mean to inspire something? My views are not bigoted against any group. They're honest. They're factual. That's not hate. That's reality. And my views derive from my deep concern for Americans, actually. Americans aren't having kids because they can't afford to. And nobody in charge cares. And so that's my position. That doesn't inspire mass shootings. How dare you try to tie me to some lunatic who murdered people? How dare you, actually? And in fact, I mean, do you know what I mean? I'd be like, Hitler wore those shoes. A lot of people are saying that you're like Hitler. Can you explain those shoes? Hitler wore exactly the same shoes. And you're like, I've got nothing to do with Hitler. Well, that's how I feel about your absurd, disingenuous question.
Right. So therefore you support gun control?
What? I thought it couldn't
don't
get
want any more
dumber, but it
shootings?
did. No, I don't support disarming law-abiding people so they can't defend themselves. So the government has a monopoly on violence? I don't think so. First of all, in my country, that's illegal, as you know. But moreover, it should be illegal in every country. A sovereign person has the right to defend himself and his family, period. And that said, I'm totally opposed to harming anyone. Have you been calling? Are you concerned about the war in Ukraine and the countless innocents being murdered there every single day? I doubt you are. Probably Putin bad. I am.
Okay, so I have to get with the whole Putin bad stuff and the whole situation in Ukraine. Never forget, before 2022, all of the media here in the country, in the United States, was covering the fact that Ukraine is inherently corrupt. And as for the whole gun control situation, again, that's another tactic. When it comes down to gun control here in the United States, it's an impossible task. Unfortunately, there is just way too much. And the lobby groups have absolute full control over our politicians, Democrat and Republican. But this is just another thing, another tactic in which corporate media wants to deflect what they're training their journalists to do, and that is get people to be emotionally triggered. Now, of course, Tucker Carlson did respond. But besides the point, it's just a way of pushing this narrative of this person's this way, so that way they have to be viewed as a bad guy. Because after all, in the media, you have to do clickbait. You have to do at least what the New York Times, Washington Post, ABC, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. It is the narrative of portraying somebody as being the villain, the other, non-human. It's been a successful tactic for quite some time, and it still holds true. I've been noticing it's been weakening, but the narrative of having us separated, team red, team blue, liberal versus conservative. Oh, don't you dare break out of the teams, because if you break out of the teams, what you're trying to speak to another person. I make it my goal to at least speak to people of different perspectives and points of view. I'm not going to change their mind, but I at least want to know why they think the way they think. I've spoke to conservatives, I spoke to Trumpers, libertarians, Greens, and socialists, trying to see the whole picture, the bigger picture about what's going on, what is happening. And you have to do that, especially if you get in this kind of business where you do commentary, political analysis, interviews, perspectives. You have to be more worldly and rounded. You have to see the other side.
I'm a Christian. I hate violence. I hate mass shootings. I have guns at home, and often on my person when I'm in the United States, I'm proud to say, because I want to defend myself and those I love against violence. That's the point. I'm not perpetrating crimes. I'm not shooting strangers. I'm defending what I love. And if you're against that, I guess I would ask why. Why would you be against that?
Well, so you don't think you harbor any kind of responsibility for these hate crimes?
No!
I'm sorry. I'm trying to be charitable.
Okay, we're going to rewind that again. Tucker Carlson is not responsible for every action of every person in the United States or around the world. Neither are you, neither are me. I mean, what happened? Like, as soon as Tucker Carlson's show goes off air, does he just okay, hold on. We're going to move this because we're going to do acting in 3, 2, 1. So as soon as Tucker Carlson shows off the air, this is what happens. Soon all the liberals will lose everything. I shall unleash a wave of hate crime across the whole world, and no one will stop me. Tucker, we're going to be back on in 3 seconds. Okay, hold on. So something's happening on the left where the liberals are just saying this and that. Anyways, no. It's stupid. It's dumb. You can't blame Tucker Carlson for every hate crime. That's dumb. And I've never seen him promote that on his show. Has anybody ever seen where Tucker's like, all right, everybody, we're doing hate crime. Today is Hate Crime Wednesday. Everyone's going to be hating, even though today's Thursday. Hate Crime Wednesday. We're doing it. No. That was pretty dumb. A lot of journalists are not serious people.
I'm not perpetrating crimes. I'm not shooting strangers. I'm defending what I love. And if you're against that, I guess I would ask why. Why would you be against that?
Well, so you don't think you harbor any kind of responsibility for these hate crimes?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to be charitable. I was like, maybe you're just pretending to be dumb. Now I don't think it's an act.
Tucker, thank you for taking those questions. I'm sure you enjoyed.
Actually, I
questions from the
loved it. I
press.
just feel sorry. I mean, because I got here and the country's so unbelievably beautiful and the people are so cheerful and funny and cool and smart. I'm like, your media's got to be better than ours. It can't just be a bunch of castrated robots reading questions from the boss. And then it turns out it's exactly the same, maybe even a tiny bit dumber.
So what can we take away from that? First of all, those were dumb questions. Yeah, I mean, let's face it. There's no such, people say there's no such thing as a dumb question. Well, sometimes there are. Okay. All right. And that reporter, that journalist, was adding in either that's her own bias in regards to setting up those questions, or either that she is following the orders from management in order to try and smear and make Tucker Carlson look like a big old villain. Those are questions that are a waste of time and really don't contribute anything. Hell, in 2016, you missed your golden opportunity to really actually go after and be part of the cancel culture zeitgeist. But that day, those years have passed. After Trump got defeated in 2020, I have to say it was the great reveal of how incompetent all of the media truly was. Like parasites, which corporate media is, ABC, CBS, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, they're parasites. And the reason why they are parasites is because Trump gave them that boost. As soon as he made his announcement in 2015 and throughout the entire 2016 election cycle, all what they could do was talk about him or give time to his empty podium or blame everything that was going wrong in the world on Trump, on good old Trump. And anybody that would be critical of Democrats or corporate media or even that, the constant coverage of Trump, oh, well, they were bad guys too, and they had to be canceled. Anything that was comedic or deemed controversial or words or things to be said, controversial, has to be canceled and censored. And I'm loving seeing the entire machine fall apart. And in this 2024 election cycle, no one is taking the Democratic Party serious. No one is taking corporate media serious because they never were. They are designed only for clickbait and repeating the narrative coming from Washington, D.C. at the behest of the donors who control the politicians, the same donors who are also the owners of corporate media. And so they go after people that are not part of that machine. Now, why do you think there's such a massive wave of censorship and cancel culture? Look what's happening to Indie News Network. Look what's happening to all of our colleagues in independent media. People are being censored. Matt Weinglass's show is still struggling. And hey, folks, we still got to fight for that. I despise censorship and cancel culture. I despise how people are getting smeared and slandered. And that's the problem with corporate media. It's because it has its control. But hey, once in a rare blue moon, you see somebody get owned. But, you know, just to quote that infamous line from The Simpsons, when Homer Simpson was acting like Krusty the Clown and he crashes face first into all those burgers, and the hamburglar, quote unquote, is stealing the hamburger and he starts beating him within an inch of his life. Tucker Carlson towards that journalist. Stop it, Tucker. She's already dead. You don't have to embarrass her any further because she's not a serious person.